Right now we're going to do some working around with folders and permissions inside Solaris. Please note that I've logged in already as my user. I have switch roles over to root, and now I'm in as root Bill Solaris. Okay. If I type in pwd, pwd, basically it tells me that I'm in export, in home, and in the folder called Bill. All right, even though I'm in playing root role, I'm still Bill. Okay, so I'm going to go change directories. One of the ways a lot of people do it is just type in cd space dash dash, and we go backwards to export cd space dash dash, or I should say dash dash dot dot, and here I am. All right, and if I do a dir, it basically, for all intents and purposes, with the slash, I'm back to the root. In other words, at the very top of the level here. In Windows, this would be like C colon or D colon or E colon, whatever drive you're in here. Okay, and you'll notice these are all the folders. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a directory here. Okay, so if I go MK, oops, typed it in wrong, MKDIR, and I'm going to create a folder, capital letters, called music, or capital M, and I press enter. Okay, and now I type in dir again, you'll notice that the folder music was created here. Okay, if I change directory to music, I'm inside the music folder. Now inside this music folder, I'm going to create a series of subfolders or subdirectories here, and these are going to be created for different types of music here. So I'm going to go mkdir, make a directory here, and I'm going to create R and R for rock and roll. I'm going to create a directory for ethnic music. I'm going to create a directory for, let's say, folk music. Of course, if I learn to type right, always helps. Folk music. Let's make a directory for jazz. And let's make a directory, make a directory for blues. And let's make a directory for alternative music. Call it altern. Okay? So if I go directory inside the music folder, it shows me altern, blues, ethnic, folk, jazz, R&R. Please note that it automatically put them in alphabetical order here. Let's find some details in here. If I go ls-l to show long listing, a long listing, and I press enter, it now shows me that inside music, D indicates there's a directory for all these other ones. The name is on the right hand side, and in this column 1 you will see RWX, R-X, R-X. Okay, so what does this mean? It means that the first three RWX, right, the first three letters after the D, so basically it's the second bit, third bit, and fourth bit, the D being the first in this situation. The second, third, and fourth RWX are the permissions given to root, who is the user owner. The next three are -X, which are the permissions which says read and execute. The W stands for write, but here it's been ignored or left out, right? And this is given to the group. Now, it's really interesting because root is a user, but there's also a root group, right? These two are two separate entities, not to be confused. And then finally, the last three bits, R-X, are the permissions that are given to everybody else. Let me clear my screen here. Okay, let's start at the top again here. Okay, so if I go in ls space -L, and I press enter, here's our information. The first bit says it's a directory, and if it was a dash, it would say that it is just a file. Let's change into let's go into Jazz. Okay, so I'm going to go CD, JAZZ or ZZ, and I'm inside Jazz. And I go ls-l just to see what's in there. There's no files in there. So I'm going to use Nano. I'm going to create a fictitious file. All right, so I'm going to put a bunch of gobbledygook in there. Gobbledygook, GGP. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, and okay. And this is not really important. You can put any text that you want in here, any way that you want in here. But I'm just putting stuff in here just so at least we have something to see and work with here. All right. So basically, this is the information. If I go Control X to exit out of here, right? This is save modified buffer. I'm going to save this, yes. And the file to write is I'm just going to call this gazz.txt. It's a text file here. Okay. And I press enter here, and if I go clear, oops, okay, I'm inside Jazz, I'm inside music at the root, and inside music a subfolder Jazz. Okay, I'm still logged in as root because I got the number sign here. If I go ls-l, you now will see that there is a file that is created inside Jazz. It is called jazz.txt. Here's the date and the time that I've created it on here, and you'll see that the group is root and the user is root, so it's user root, user owner I should say, and the group owner. And look at the permissions. The first bit is a dash, which indicates this is a file, not a directory. If it was a directory, it'd be letter D. Then the first 3 bits following it, bits 2, bits 3, bit 4, it only showed read, write, and no execute. In other words, I, as root, can get in there and read and write. Okay? Anybody who belongs to the user's group called root will have permissions of read, and that's it, because the write is left out and the X for execute is left out. All others should be able to come into this folder and read, not write or execute the folder. So what I've done is I've created a folder called music. All right. I've created a folder called Jazz, which is a subfolder, subdirectory of music, and inside this Jazz subdirectory or Jazz folder, I've created a file called Jazz text. Okay, so you'll notice there's some things and I want to show the comparison here. Let me just clear this all out here. Okay, CD. All right, now let's do this. ls-l. And in music, it shows that Jazz is read, write, execute for the root, read and execute for the root group, read and execute for everyone. But when I change directories into Jazz, which is now not only music, but music and Jazz, and if I go ls-l, you will notice that the file that was created inside of here, right, is read and write only for the user owner, read for the group, and the last 3 bits read for everybody. So technically, if I logged in or I changed users, let's try this. If I go su demo 2, all right, I've undertaken the role that I am now user demo 2. Now, please note that as root, I have the availability to basically switch user to demo 2. It doesn't challenge me for a password. Well, basically, when I created demo 2, I didn't put any password in. But for now, he is there. Okay, you'll notice it's no longer a root user because the number sign converted to a $sign. Let me just go ls. I'm not going to go to the ls all, the ls-l, because I just want to see what the file is. Now, here is Jazz text. Let me type this in. Nano, because I'm using Nano, jazz.txt. And I'm going to go into the file and I press enter. Here's gobbledygook. This is the data I put in here. Right? Let me try to add a line of, I'm going to go down to the bottom here. I put an enter here. I'm going to go more gobbledygook. All right, so I've added a line. If I press X, I'm going to save the file, write it to Jazz. All right, and one thing that I've got here, you'll notice right here at the very bottom, it says error writing jazz.txt, permission denied. The reason for this is because the person I'm trying to log in as, all right, let me just exit this stuff here. And no, I don't want to save the changes. I'm back here. Let me just clear the screen again here. Let's just go through this here again. All right, let's see what we have. If I go groups, demo 2, demo 2 is only a member of the staff group. Okay, so keep that in mind. If I go ls-l, ls, yeah, I said that right. In here, for the Jazz text, root, who's the user, owner user, has read write. Well, that's a demo. I'm demo, so I'm not root. So that doesn't apply to me. Demo 2 is a member of staff. Well, the users group is called root, not staff. So this, and this, these next 3 bits, the middle 3 bits, doesn't apply to me. I am part of the others group, or all that's left, basically, everyone that's left, that not included, falls into this last 3 bits. And there I only have the permissions of read --. So when I tried to do the edit with Nano of jazz.txt text, yeah, it opened up the file. Yeah, I was able to add the information to it, but when I tried to save it, it wouldn't save for me, mainly because of the fact that all I had was read permissions. So, to sum things up, when you're creating folders or subdirectories, all right, there only are 3 sets of permissions, basically. It's read, write, execute, okay? And there are set up 3 groupings. The owner user, the second grouping, or the second group is the groups, the owner groups, and then finally the third grouping or section or users, depending how you want to word this, is in the last octet here. So you have user owner, you have owner group, and then you have basically all others. Windows, they call it the everyone group here. When you're creating directories and when you're creating files inside said directories.